Welcome to the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm Joe Cook. Today I'm joined by Justin Wells. And Justin, we have some breaking news to discuss. The Longhorns have added another member to their 2025 class, this time in the form of four-star Tyler Chapel Hill running back Rickey Stewart. He's one of a top 300 prospect in basically every ranking, and it gives Texas a very talented playmaker on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Stewart was a popular guy. He played in a Chapel Hill program that's played more football games in the last 3 seasons than most high schools in the state of Texas. And it was a lot of Rickey Stewart Jr. 5'11", about 180, 185. Like you said, a four-star with a ton of really good offers. Michigan made a run at him. LSU, Oregon, Texas A&M, Alabama. A lot of schools were in the mix. But ultimately, back in January, Tashard Choice made a trip to Tyler. And, he had heard that he'd seen some tape on Rickey, and he just wanted to make sure he saw it in person and absolutely loved him. Told him if he showed up to junior day in January, he'd get an offer. He showed up. He got it. He got emotional. A lot of kids use the dream school, term a lot, and sometimes it gets thrown around. Not for Stewart. This is the offer he wanted. This is the school that he wanted to go to. I felt like he had kind of chose Texas the day he got offered. He had to go home, talk to his family about it, get all those things together. He was committed to SMU at the time, went ahead and went through with that decommitment. SMU still recruited him hard. Baylor, a handful of other schools as well. But ultimately, he was always going to end up in Texas if they wanted him. And Tashard Choice and Steve Sarkisian did. They viewed him as one of the top backs in the country, and now he's in the mix for the class of 2025.
When you look at a prospect at a 4A program, one of the, I don't want to say small school, but these aren't the biggest schools either. You can have one transcendent talent, and it can make a big difference. I always kind of call it the Jordan Whittington rule. Are you the best field? Or are you the best player on nearly every field that you step on? And Chapel Hill's got two guys that kind of fit that bill, and Rickey Stewart may be 1A, maybe to Demetrius Brisbane's 1B, and his stats also bear that out.
Yeah, Rickey's been a monster. He's what I like to call a volume carry guy. Is he a speedster burner that's going to just beat you on the outside? Well, he can get to the outside and he can go, but he's more of your traditional in between the tackles guy. Maybe zone block top style. He's a short guy. I mean, he keeps himself low. He's like smoke through a keyhole, and his numbers are ridiculous. In 3 years, he still has a senior year to play. In 3 years, he's accumulated 71 touchdowns for the Bulldogs. And that's in, like you said, 3 consecutive state semifinal appearances, 1 state championship, state title game appearance last year. Almost over 6,000 rushing yards. He's also a weapon out of the backfield catching the ball. I think he had about 300 yards receiving as well. But Rickey's almost kind of your old school style running back. The more carries he gets, the better he gets in the game. I think there's some Jonathan Brooks to his game as well, with his vision, with his cutback ability, the way to follow blocks. Like I said, he's not going to be a burner. He is more of an old school running back there's some Keontae Ingram there where he's going to sit there and be patient, hit, go low, and just shoot through the gap. And I think that's the beauty of Rickey. He's taken on a lot of leadership, and he's very quiet. You're not going to hear this guy say more than 2 sentences a month. He just doesn't talk a lot. He lets his play on the field do all the speaking for him. And listen, when Tashard Choice, this is Choice at it once again. This is Choice 101 recruiting, how to do it. He pinpoints a guy he wants. He focuses on him. He sells him on the program, the vision. He shows him what he's been training, from Bijan Robinson to Jonathan Brooks to Jahmyr Gibbs to Rashawn Johnson. The guy is building a very nice list and clientele, and Rickey Stewart Jr. could not resist and jump into the mix.
Checking out athletic.net. Looks like some of the most recent track times are from the 2022 spring. And he's got a sub 12 100 to his name and 11.62. Doesn't look like there's anything really available from that 2023 season. And we'll see.
Well, he's not running this year. He's not running this year. But here's the coolest thing about that, Joe. He has attended every Chapel Hill track meet. That means he's gone on the road with them everywhere. And I asked him, I said, what was the decision not running track anymore? And he said, well, I want to focus on getting my visits down and finding, he wanted to figure out the right school. He said, but I'm still going to every track meet because those are my teammates. I love that about a guy. You're not even running. A track meet can be one of the longest days of your life, and you're going each time just to support your teammates and be with your friends. To me, that's a culture take. That's one of those high-end mental evaluations that Sark and the guys have done so well with.
Now, although Rickey Stewart is kind of on the top 300, top 250 for a lot of different services, 4-star, this is probably going to be a class that includes another running back. Is Stewart, obviously, with Texas being kind of the dream school situation, Stewart seems okay with that. But what are some of the other things that Texas fans need to look out for when it comes to running back?
This is going to be a 2 running back cycle, just like the previous 2. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 2 running back cycle in 2026. I feel like that's Choice's MO, is to at least try to get 2 guys per cycle. That keeps you out of the portal. That keeps you out from having to try to fill in blanks with junior and senior classes. And I think the number 1 name is Jordan Davison. He's been at the top of the big board since it's for probably the last 2 years. The modern day running back is very familiar with Choice and the Longhorns, not to mention the pipeline that has been opened over the last year from Spencer Shannon, Brady Sarkeesian, Brandon Baker, and a number of other guys. He's got a teammate, Marcus Harris, that's going to be on campus for the official visit on June 21st to the 23rd. He's buddies with Sean Scott, that's going to try to make a visit as well, Nasir White, Chuck McDonald. I mean, modern day is loaded, and Jordan Davison's the one that's been at the top of that board. And so if Texas finishes with a Stewart Davison class, that is Tashard Choice's 1 and 2. He's done it once again, Joe. And he keeps doing it.
Let's talk a little bit about just the region that he comes from and what this means for the Longhorns. East Texas has been a place that's been good to Texas, been bad to Texas in the past, but now with this addition, the Longhorns have 2 in their class, one in the form of Lance Jackson from Texarkana Pleasant Grove and the other from Rickey Stewart. What type of cycle is this out in East Texas, and what do Stewart and Jackson jumping into the fold kind of mean for Texas efforts over in the Piney Woods?
I think it just shows that they're going to stick around this region when they want to find some guys. There's just dogs in this area. You've everyone in the world has heard me profess that for the last 15 years, and I'll stand on that soapbox. What it does is it keeps you in that region. It keeps you relevant because there's some really good talent behind Rickey Stewart at the running back position, notably KJ Edwards out of Carthage and Tredarian Ball out of Texas High. Those 2 2026 tailbacks are on the top, near the top of the big board for Choice and the running backs for Texas. And so it keeps you relevant. Listen, every cycle you need 3 or 4 kids from this region. You can get by with 2, but if you want to build a national champion, look what Nick Saban did his last few years at Alabama. He came into East Texas and just pillaged and took and didn't have any, didn't hold back at all, and brought in a lot of those guys. And so, for me, I think it's cool because I've known Rickey for about 3 years now, but ultimately you want the best players. And Rickey's one of the best running backs in the country. There's a lot of schools that have him near the top of the board. And so you get Lance Jackson, you get Rickey Stewart. You're in a great standing with KJ Edwards and Tredarian Ball. They're also doing really. They got early on Quevius Beck, the linebacker out of Carthage. They got him. DeQuane Prevost, another athlete / wide receiver out of Liberty Ilo. They're in the mix for that as well. There's a few other guys that are on the come up that I think you're going to hear more about after the summer camp scene. But all it does, Joe, is it just shows that Sark will go anywhere required to find his 25. It doesn't matter if it's in California, South Florida, Dallas, Fort Worth, H-Town, or East Texas. He doesn't have one specific spot. He just wants to make sure he gets 25 really good guys that can fit the culture that they have built in Austin. Rickey Stewart is a culture fit. This kid does not talk, Joe. All he does is work.
Hey, you're forgetting Zion Williams when you're talking about East Texas.
Son of a gun. The biggest.
Bring that up for you.
I apologize for that, Mount Holy Zion. That's my fault. Yeah. stay in East Texas for one more, because Zion Williams is about the most important target on the board on that defensive side. 6'5", 315. I hope Mount Zion forgives me for that faux pas. I'll actually, yeah, that one that was tough.
It'll be all right. And Ricky Stewart jumping into the class, a big addition, not just for Steve Sarkisian, but for Tashard Choice and for that Longhorn offense to keep that running back room stocked as it always seems to be with them in control. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to our channel. We'll bring you all the instant analysis for any breaking news that pops regarding the Longhorns, as well as our regularly scheduled stuff. Head to InsideTexas.com, sign up, come join us. We'll keep you up to date on everything, including anything that happens with the Longhorn football team, recruiting or otherwise. Justin, thank you so much. We'll see you next time on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com.